Hi there, everyone. Hi, class. Hi, professor. My name is Michael Ma, and in today's presentation, I want to share about the lecture I learned from the JAM about why the future of online shopping is multi-device, not only on mobile devices. The original speakers were Everett Dehan from Germany, P.K. Cannon from University of Maryland, Peter Warhoff from Netherlands, and Thorsten Wiesel from Germany. Now, they were lucky and generously enough to provide a research question in a study, which was what consequences does multi-device usage and especially device switching have for the path to purchase outcome? And I think what it means is, do people who use only a phone compared to somebody who has an iPad and a laptop as well make decisions differently or take different time or lengths because there's different devices involved in there? And let's figure it out. Now, before we start, the biggest and most important thing we have to know is the difference between mobile and non-mobile devices. A mobile device is an iPhone. It's a good tool for quick search, and it has a high traffic, which means a lot of people use it. And a non-mobile device is like an iPad or iMac, where it is so much easier to feel and is safer to purchase. Now, why don't everybody prefer a mobile device, or why not mobile device? Apparently, according to the study, there's a lower risk for leaking information, and using an iPad or iMac have a safer chances for purchasing higher cost product. Lastly, it is easier for less experienced or unfamiliarized product, which in my opinion, I think it means for people who are not so familiar or used to the high technology iOS or Android system phones, it's easier for them to do the basic communications or transactions on a desktop or just a normal laptop, which makes sense. And I'll use myself as an example. I love fashion, and I made a huge purchase, in my opinion, a couple years ago on a Moncler puffer jacket. It was about $1,200, which was a lot of money for me. So when I decided I want to buy it, I started on my phone looking online to find the perfect one I want to. And then after I located the one I want to, I use the phone to do the filter options to look at to make sure it has the right size for me and it can ship to my house and all that kind of stuff. And then once I know this is the one, somehow I just automatically switch to the laptop. And then I put my credit card information on there. I finished the transaction on my laptop as well. I don't know why, but I feel like for me, because I know it's expensive, it just felt safer and easier to finish on the laptop because it looks more legit. And I guess that's how most people do it these days. That's why we have the study right here demonstrating it. And there are some findings down in the researches by the professors. Firstly, there's a significant impact on device switching conversion, which means if somebody started on a mobile device or a non-mobile device, when they switch to the opposite kind of devices, there's a higher or lower chances of them finishing the purchase or fulfilling the purchase. And there is a much higher conversion rate from a phone to other devices, which means if somebody starts on an iPhone and it's on an iMac or iPad, they have a much higher chance of finishing the purchase. Lastly, for important purchases, the switch rate can be up to 600%, which means if somebody is trying to buy a car, a house, or pay for a mortgage or something pricey, expensive, and important, it is very likely for them to do the purchase on a non-mobile devices because they feel like that's where they should do. And here comes the question. Why is it so important for anyone to know about switching devices? The couple of key takeaways I took from the lecture are here. Firstly, I think different devices tell retailers different purchasing stages customers are at, which means whether people using iPhone or iMac or an iPad, they know whether the consumers are just at the beginning looking for products, or they are evaluating their alternatives, or they're on the end of the purchase where they are trying to finalize the purchase. So it's important for the retailers to know where the customers are at. Secondly, based on where the customers are at, I think retailers can add more values to the devices that people are preferred, whether it's an iPhone or an iPad. If the retailers see, okay, people spend more time on the iPad, they would try and make the iPad app more smooth, or the laptop version or the iPhone version. It's about making the service and the whole transaction as smooth as possible and feel like as easy as possible. So the customers are more willing to finish the transaction as soon as possible. Now, here are some news thoughts by myself that was not in the study. Because the study in the lecture was done in 2018, and now we are almost at the end of 2021, I feel like the 3.5 years later, there's a lot of difference and a lot of changes happening to the entire technological trending society. For instance, I feel like there's a bigger emphasis on app purchases. You can buy your shoes on the Nike app, let's say it's on your phone. You can pay your rent, pay your bills, and then there's Amazon where people mostly use it on the phone. It's so much easier to purchase and track the order. And then you can even buy a Tesla on your phone, which means more people, especially the younger people who are tech savvy, they are more preferred to use their iPhone to do the purchases. That's why all the applications are so much better this day. Secondly, there's the convenient payment methods like Apple Pay or Samsung Pay or PayPal, where you are no longer required to bring your wallet with you going out to eat or buy stuff. Your phone can be your new wallet now. So that encourages more people to use their iPhone to finish the transactions. Lastly, it's just so much easier tracking on the go. If you can do everything on your iPhone, that stops a lot of people from carrying a laptop or an iPad if they can just finish the purchase and track the purchase and do everything on their iPhone. So these are some of my thoughts about how maybe the study we saw in the lecture and compared to the current world, there's some differences, but then overall, I think the study made a really great idea and emphasis on why different devices make sense. Because for me, I want to have different devices available for myself to know which one is more important and which one is better. So I think they make sense. And then we're going to keep seeing this trend going. And let's see how long I can keep going. Thank you.